to myself A. Venkateswara. I am Assistant Professor, Aditya College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to discuss about study of cell wall constituents. Okay. Actually, cell wall is present in plant cells. So the plant cells only having the cell walls, but animal cells only having the cell membrane. So the cell wall, what are the major chemical constituents present in the cell wall? We can call as cell wall constituents. So the cell wall is generally made up of cellulose, starch, and soberin, and cutin, and lignin. Okay, we will discuss what are these cell wall constituents and how can you identify by cell wall constituent by using the different chemical test in this classification. And in the cell wall constituents and also cell inclusions. Cell inclusions means there is including cell organelles and also ergastic substances. Ergastic substances means non-living things like means secondary metabolites and primary metabolites. Like this non-living things what are the present in the plants we can call as ergastic substances. So what is the cell wall? Cell wall is the outermost layer of the plant cells. It gives the flexibility and also mainly it gives the rigidity and rigidity to the cell, and it protects the innermost organs including cell membrane and various cell organelles. It protects and it gives the selectively transport of some important chemical constituents among the one cell to another cell. Okay, mainly the cell wall function is protection and transportation. So composition of the plant cell wall. So plant cell wall generally made of cellulose, but also some epidermis of cell wall and endodermis it containing soberin like materials, and also they containing various enzyme systems also in the plant cell wall like peroxidase, esterases, and hydrolases and transglycolases. Generally what is the cell wall function? It gives the strength and also allows the selectively permeability, and means some of the gases exchange, it allows the some gases exchange and some chemical exchange. So but it's not selective permeability, but cell membrane having the selective permeability, but it is also allows the transportation from the one cell to another cell. So the cell wall function you can say that it's a transportation and gives the strength to the cell. Okay. They also contain mineral substance, some minerals like calcium oxalates, okay, and some other minerals also present in the plant cell wall. So mainly it contain what is that? Soberin, cellulose, lignin, and cutin, and also minerals and some enzymes are present in plant cell wall. So coming to the first plant constituents under that cell wall constituents, we can say that what are the cell wall? It contains mainly cellulose, lignin, and cutin, and soberin. Coming to the cellulose, so cellulose is a major carbohydrate, I mean polysaccharide. It is present in the plant cell wall. So actually is the cellulose it stores in the cell wall. We can say that it is a plant metabolite, primary metabolite. So it's a polysaccharide, it stores in the plant cell wall. So how can you identify the plant cell walls containing the cellulose? By using the some chemical test. By simply we are treating with iodine, and after that the iodine test we have to add the sulfuric acid, so that actually we are doing this test on the organized drugs, not a powder form of the starch or cellulose. So we are doing the iodine with this. After we are adding sulfuric acid, we can observe that so after adding the iodine to the drops, after that we have to add the sulfuric acid. Excess stain can be removed, and observe that it produces the blue color with iodine. Thus the cellulose containing parts we can see the blue color. So this is the observation for the identification of cellulose. Okay. And most important secondary metabolite plant cell constituent is lignin. Lignin is also present in some fibers and also some cell walls. So the generally it's present in cell walls containing the fibers and some secondary phloem fibers and sclerites. They are generally lignified. Okay, so the lignin content we can see even leaves, stems, bark. So all the plant parts we can see the lignin. So generally it is present in the cell walls. So lignin can be identified by using the fluoroguanidinol. So just remember that what is the major chemical test we are doing to identify the lignin is fluoroguanidinol, and concentrated HCl we have to take 1:1 ratio. So we equal ratio we have to take the fluoroguanidinol and concentrated HCl to identify the lignin in the plant constituents. So when you are doing the transfer section, generally lignified contents can be identified by using the fluoroguanidinol and concentrated HCl 1:1 ratio, so that we can identify the lignified contents. So the lignified contents acquired the pink color. So this is the identification for the lignin. So when we are doing the common transfer section for any organized drugs, we are using the fluoroguanidinol and concentrated HCl to identify the lignified contents, lignified fibers, lignified sclerites, lignified phloem fibers. Okay, like lignified structures all we can identify by using the fluoroguanidinol and concentrated HCl. It acquires the pink color, so we can observe under the microscope this pink colored lignified structures. Okay. And next, cutin also important cell wall constituent, so it's present in some of the cells. Okay, and actually it is also present, is condensed with some oxygenated fatty acids also in the cutin. How can you identify by the cutin? So generally epidermis is present in cutin in some of the plants. Epidermis, by epidermal scraping of some plant material, we are treating with caustic potash. So what you are doing? So first we have to scraping the some epidermal plant material, scraping. So the scraping we are treating with caustic potash and transfer the scrapping material to chloral hydrate. Chloral hydrate is a solution we are using in the transfer section study for the various transfer section of organized drugs. Why? Because this chloral hydrate will dilutes the pigments, excess staining, and also it dilutes, so that we can see the excess coloring of plant material. So the cutin will acquire the bright yellow color. So this test we are doing the soberin also, its color of observation is different. So what is the color of cutin? So cutin, when you are treating with caustic potash, it shows the bright yellow color. So chloral hydrate solution, you have to remember here, chloral hydrate solution used to dilute the excess pigmentation and staining. So soberin also one of the cell wall constituents. So soberin can be identified by using various techniques, like especially in the, so soberin is present in the outermost epidermis like cutin also. Like we have to scrap the ginger peeling, and the peeling we have to test with the caustic potash and observe that microscope. We can say that it shows the brown color, yellowish to brown color, but when you see in the cutin it shows the bright brown color, but here it shows the brown, yellowish to brown color. Okay. Next, mucilase. So along with soberin, lignin, cutin, the plant cell walls also present in the mucilase. And mucilase not only cell walls, there is some constituents. We can even inside the cell also we can see the mucilase. Mucilase means it's a polysaccharide, and this is also sugars along with some minerals. The mucilase generally secreted by the plants, some plants, but gums are pathological products when after the get injury, or maybe due to the environmental stress or chemical stress, gums are producing, but mucilase itself plant can able to produce during the metabolism. So the mucilase containing polysaccharides, sugars, and some minerals. So how can you identify the mucilase? By chemical test. In the ruthenium red, when you are treating with ruthenium red, it shows the pink color. All the mucilase containing cells acquired the pink color. Generally mucilase is present in the cell walls. Okay, and also lamella inside between the two actually cell wall containing two layers. In the between the middle lamella we can see this mucilase. Okay. Cell inclusions, I already told that cell inclusions means cell wall and including the cell organelles and ergastic substances. So cell ergastic substances means non-living things. Okay, so we are already discussed about cell wall constituents. So next what we have to discuss about like cell organelles. Cell organelles means mitochondria, chloroplast, vacuoles, and all the cell organelles we have to discuss here in the cell inclusions. And also there is ergastic substances we can discuss here, like starch grains. So what is the important the pharmacognosy starch grains? So generally starch is a polysaccharide, but generally present in various cells, starch grains. So the starch grains is various. So what is the source of starch? When you see that, so potatoes we have the starch, rice we have the starch, and GM maize we have the starch, and wheat we have the starch. So these all starches are different in their size and appearance. By using these properties of starch, we can identify the crude drugs. So this is also one important. So that is the reason we need to study about the starch grains. So what it appears, the size of starch grains, and the where it is located. So these things we are studying in the pharmacognosy. So the starch grains is in varying size. So potato starch is bigger and rice starch is very smaller, and so concentrated helium is present. So like these structures we are studying. Starch generally it is composed of two things. One is amylase and amylopectin. So what is the amylase and amylopectin means? These are the peptide polysaccharides. Okay, these polysaccharides are two types of polysaccharides are present in starch. So one is amylopectin and amylase. So amylase is a water soluble portion of starch. So what is the water soluble portion of starch? Amylase is a water soluble portion, whereas amylopectin, it is a gel forming. When you are treating with hot water, the starch will produce gel strength. So the gel strength because of amylopectin. What is the difference between amylase and amylopectin means? This generally is a both polysaccharides of glucose, D-glucose, but the linkage of amylopectin is 1,4 alpha linkase and 1,6 alpha linkase, but in the amylase there is only 1,6 linkase only present, so there is no cross linkage between the glucose molecules, but the amylase percentage is very less in the starch, whereas amylopectin is more percentage in starch. So these are the starch properties, but what you are studying here means to know the starch grain size and width. It is important for the studying of various starch grains in the plant, so we can identify the which starch it is. What is use of starch? We are using for the bulk forming agent and formulation aid in the various formulations in the starch. Okay, test. How can you test the starch grains? So potato powder we have to take and add the iodine. So iodine test we are using for the starch. It's a carbohydrate, it's a polysaccharide. When it stains the blue color, it indicates that it's starch is present, but by observing the microscope by size of the potato starch grains, we have already reference value, we can confirm that this is a potato starch. Maybe it is a rice starch, there is a size is different, so basing on the size we can identify that which starch it is. Then volatile. What is the volatile? Volatiles are generally it's evaporate at room temperature. That is the reason it's called the volatiles. But they differ with fixed oils. Fixed oils means we are edible, that we are eating. But volatiles we are using for flavoring purpose. Okay. Generally it's chemically different with fixed oils. Generally volatiles are terpenes and their derivatives. Volatiles are terpenes and their derivatives, whereas the fixed oils are fatty acids. Okay, so this volatile oil generally not stains the paper for permanent because it's evaporated. How can you identify the volatile oil? Simply by Sodan 3 test. Okay, so it produces the red color, and tincture of alkana, there is one more chemical reagent by using we can identify the volatile oils. Okay. So what is the use of volatile oils? To attract the insects and to get the pollination. So it helps in the pollination. For us it is a perfumery and formulation. For we are using as a various formulation as a flavoring agent, and volatile oils having the carbonative properties and various antibacterial properties and antiseptic properties we have in the volatile oils. And calcium oxalate crystals. Generally calcium is exist in the plant cells and cell walls in different form, like as a calcium carbonate or calcium oxalates. Calcium carbonates are very rare in the plants. They exist in the plants in the form of as a grapes, as a bunch of grapes we can see in the calcium carbonates, whereas the calcium oxalates we can see in as a calcium oxalate crystals we can see in almost all plants, all the plants from the fungi to higher plants we can see all the parts, and almost all plants we can see the calcium oxalate crystals. They appear in different shape. Some of the calcium oxalate crystals we can see in the rosette shape. Some of the calcium crystals we can see there is a clusters, microsphenidal, so is a sphere shape. So basing on the shape of these calcium oxalate crystals we can identify the crude drugs. Okay, that's the reason we are studying the plant cell wall constituents and cell inclusions. So for the identification of crude drugs as a powder drugs or maybe as a crude form of the drugs, maybe bark or stem or maybe leaf, we can identify and can eliminate the adulteration. So the reason we are studying the cell wall constituents. So cell walls are made with different material like starch, sovereign, cellulose, okay, cutin and mucilase. So for the mucilase containing drugs we are identifying by using ruthenium red, whereas the cellulose and starch containing cell walls can be identified with iodine, and cutin we are using the caustic potash, and whereas calcium oxalate crystals and all we can see by using fluoromethanol and concentrate HCl. For the identification of these calcium oxalate crystals we can know the shape of the calcium oxalate crystal. Generally, suppose digitalis lanata there is absence of calcium oxalate crystals, whereas datura one type of calcium oxalate crystals, and some of the clove we can see the prismatic calcium oxalate crystals. By prismatic calcium oxalate crystals we can identify the clove. So this is the conclusion for the calcium oxalate crystals. Why you can studying these plant cell inclusions we can identify the crude drugs. So for the identification is important to eliminate the adulteration. Thank you.